A curious mom uncovers a hidden treasure map concealed beneath her child's colorful wallpaper. When she decides to give their room a fresh look, she discovers an unexpected secret that leads to a thrilling adventure. Join us as we explore the journey of how a simple home improvement project turned into a treasure hunt filled with surprises. We'll take you through the step-by-step process of removing the wallpaper and revealing the intriguing map that has been hidden for years. What treasures lie ahead? Can they solve the clues and uncover the mystery? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing discoveries and family adventures. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a moment of our journey.
Nina stood at the kitchen sink, doing the dishes while looking at the waves crashing on the shore outside her window. The beautiful view outside her window reminded her of the new life she had chosen for herself and her two boys. It had been just over a year since she'd made the difficult decision to leave her husband. The memory of that day still stung, but Nina knew it had been necessary. His gambling addiction and poor influence on their children had left her with no choice. She'd spent countless nights lying awake, torn between her loyalty to her marriage and her duty as a mother. In the end, the welfare of her sons had tipped the scales. "Mom, where do you want this box?" Marco's voice snapped Nina out of her reverie. She turned to see her 10-year-old son struggling with a cardboard box nearly as big as he was. "Oh, honey, let me help you with that," Nina said, quickly drying her hands on a nearby towel. As they set the box down in the living room, Marco looked up at his mother. "So, you're really going to be in charge of the lighthouse?" he asked curiously. "That's right," Nina nodded, raising her eyebrows. "It's my job to make sure the light stays on and guides the ship safely to shore." "Wow!" Marco's eyes widened. "It's a big job, Mom. Will you be working all night?" "Yes, sweetheart," Nina smiled, ruffling his hair. "But don't worry. I'll be close by." "I'm a brave boy, Mom," Marco said while flexing his invisible bicep muscle. "I'll look after Will while you're away." Before Nina could respond, Marco scampered off to unpack another box. As she watched him go, her gaze swept across their new home. It was smaller than their old apartment, but she felt happy knowing it was theirs. Nina thought about all the nights she lay awake worrying about the future. This lighthouse job was a godsend. It was a new beginning for her and her boys. The pay wasn't much, but it came with this cozy beach house. It was more than enough for now. "Mommy, look what I found." 6-year-old Will came bounding into the room, holding up seashells he'd discovered outside. Nina knelt down to admire her youngest son's treasure. "They're beautiful, sweetheart," she said. "Why don't we find a special place to keep them?" As she helped Will arrange his shell collection on a windowsill, she felt determined to make the most out of the fresh start fate had given her. She was ready to do what it takes to make her kids feel comfortable and protected. The next day, Nina decided to tackle the daunting task of cleaning the boys' room after they left for school. As she entered, her eyes were immediately drawn to a splash of color on the dreary wallpaper. Will had painted over it with his watercolors. Nina sighed and shook her head. As she approached to clean it, she noticed how worn and damaged the wallpaper truly was. "This has got to go," she muttered to herself, deciding on the spot to remove it entirely. As she peeled a small piece of the old paper, something beneath it caught her eye. Upon looking closely, Nina realized there was a map hidden underneath the layer of wallpaper. Her heart raced as she removed more of the wallpaper. Soon, she found herself looking at an aged piece of parchment with intricate drawings and markings. The map was yellowed with age, its edges frayed and brittle. But what really caught Nina's attention were the red markings that crisscrossed the surface. They looked newer, as if someone had recently added them with a red pen. And they seemed to trace a path. "A treasure map?" Nina whispered in disbelief. "How long has this been here? It must be from a lifetime ago." Her mind raced with possibilities. Was this some elaborate hoax? She thought. Or could it be real? Unable to contain her excitement, Nina pulled out her phone and dialed her brother Steven's number. "Hey, sis. How's the new place?" Steven's cheerful voice came through the speaker. "Steven, you won't believe what I just found," Nina began. "I was cleaning the boys' room and found an old treasure map hidden behind the wallpaper." There was a pause on the other end of the line. "A treasure map?" Steven finally asked. "Are you serious?" "I know it sounds crazy, but it's real. There are even some newer markings on it, like someone's tried to follow it recently." "You've got to follow it." Steven cheered. "Imagine the stories you'll have for the boys." "It's probably nothing, but I might as well see where it leads." "That's the spirit," Steven encouraged. "Keep me posted, okay?" Nina stared at the map for a moment after hanging up, wondering if she should really follow it. The logical part of her brain told her this was ridiculous, but her inner child was excited for the adventure. "Let's do this," Nina told to herself before stepping outside the house with the map in her hand. She followed the red lines from the front door to around the side of the house. The map had an image of a lantern circled in red. As she shielded her eyes from the sun and looked around, a similar-looking lantern on top of a long street pole caught her attention. It was just below the little cliff at the house's edge. Taking a deep breath, Nina began descending the old stairs and walked to the lantern. After reaching there, Nina opened the map again and calculated where to go next. It took her only a few seconds to realize the red lines were leading her to the lighthouse. The same lighthouse where she was supposed to work. While walking toward the lighthouse, Nina kept wondering if she was doing the right thing. "Is this silly?" she asked herself. "What are the chances this is real? But what if it leads to something important? We could use a bit of magic in our lives." The lighthouse was old and worn from the salty sea air. As Nina walked up the stairs, she could hear the steps creaking under her weight. "This is crazy," she thought. "I can't believe I'm doing this." As she reached the second floor, Nina's eyes darted around the room, searching for anything that might match the markings on the map. "Well, this armchair seems strange," she said to herself. The old armchair sitting against the wall seemed out of place in the Spartan interior of the lighthouse. Nina knew it would lead her to something. At first, she slid her fingers on the armchair, checking the fabric for unusual stitches. "Nope," she thought. "Must be something else then." She looked at the map again, and that's when she noticed a small F and a small arrow beside the red line that led her into the lighthouse. "The floor," she said. "There's something in the floor." That's when she began pushing the chair aside. Her eyes widened as it revealed a trapdoor hidden beneath. "Okay," she said. "Let's do this." She lifted the door with trembling hands, revealing a small compartment. Nina felt her heart pound inside her chest as her gaze landed on the two old bags inside. She began opening them one by one. The first one had money. Lots of money. They were all old bills, but still legal tender. The second bag contained a collection of antique heirlooms, jewelry, small figurines, and what looked like valuable coins. "I can't believe this. It's real." "It's an actual treasure," Nina whispered. "This is insane." Nina felt overwhelmed upon looking at the money. "This could change everything," she said. "A fresh start, a better life for Marco and Will. I could finally give them everything I'd dreamed of." She realized this wasn't just money. It was a chance to rewrite their future. Tears welled up in Nina's eyes as she thought of all the doors this could open for her children. Without wasting more time, Nina carefully repacked the treasure and made her way back home with the two bags. That night, Nina couldn't sleep after tucking the boys into bed. Her mind raced as she thought about the two bags hidden in her closet. We could leave everything behind, move to a new town, start fresh, she mused. But doubt crept in. But is this the right way? What if it's someone else's money? Nina tossed and turned, torn between her desire to use the treasure and her moral doubts. Marco and Will's faces flashed in her mind as she thought about the money. She wanted to give them the world, but at what cost? Advertisement. When Marco had asked about the bags earlier, she'd told him that they were a gift from the previous lighthouse keeper. But her lie was now haunting her. After spending the entire night thinking about her kids' future, Nina finally made her decision. She decided to keep the treasure and use it to give her children the life they deserved. She decided to use it wisely, not for extravagance, but for security and opportunities. Months passed, and life changed dramatically for Nina and her boys. They moved to a comfortable home in a better neighborhood, with good schools and safe streets. One evening, as they sat on the porch of their new home, Marco turned to his mother. "Mom, I made it into the debate club today." "That's wonderful, sweetheart," Nina exclaimed. "And Will, how was your art class?" "Amazing," Will said. "We're learning about watercolors now." Nina reflected on their journey as she looked at her kids. After leaving her husband, she never thought she'd be able to give her children the life they deserved. But now, Nina was proud of how far they'd come. She felt a deep sense of gratitude. To the lighthouse job, to the curious paint splash that led her to peel off the wallpaper, and to the courage she found to embrace this new beginning.